At City House, we provide emergency shelter and transitional residential services for children, youth, and young adults who are in need because they're abused, neglected, and yes, homelessness. But what we really do is we protect the youth, we empower them to change, and we transform them.
One thing that makes my friend's house a little different than other shelters is that we allow sibling groups to stay together. And not only to stay together, but to interact while they're here. The very first sibling group that we had was a group of 7. And they ranged in age from about 5 months all the way up to 16 years old. And boy, I tell you, that 16-year-old, when he came into the house, and he wanted to check every room. He wanted to check the beds. He wanted to check and make sure that everything was set for those siblings. Once they were all set and in their rooms, and he knew that they had what they needed, we were able to sit down and just to let him know that while he's here, while that family is here at City House, it's the staff's job to take care of those kids. He is to be a kid himself. A lot of foresight, a lot of planning went into the building of the house. For instance, our bathrooms are another place that are a little different. They're bright and cheerful, like they might be at home. However, what's different is we have seats in our bathtubs. Sexual abuse and scalding burns are a huge factor for our kids, and therefore fear comes into play at bath time. These kids have the option of sitting on the seat instead of standing in the shower or even sitting in the bathtub. It's just another way for us to ease and make them a little more comfortable.
What we want to do is provide them with a sense of security as well as a sense of tough love as well, because sometimes you may have residents who are never had guidance in their life or never had a role model in their life, so they automatically look to you for that comfort. So that's a big part of what I do as well, just to make sure each resident is actually comfortable and is actually benefiting from the program.
It all started in around '06. My mom passed away. I began moving around a lot. I was 12 years old. Well, it was like I had lost my support system. It was kind of shocking, and I was confused. And a couple of days after she passed away, I kind of went to sleep wanting to wake up and think this was all just a big nightmare. Got in contact with City House, and City House, they said they would be able to give me shelter. Now I have a mentor, and he's like a parent. I look up to him, just looking at his successes and how he's still strong, and we need more people to have the same idea and the same view towards helping people. I mean, I think this world will be a better place.
A typical day at my friend's house for us can start as early as 3 o'clock in the morning. We get those crisis calls and we have to come in with smiles on our faces to help support those kids. Kids come in here and they've been around police for hours, been questioned by CPS, and pulled from their family, which are the only safe people that they feel they know, even if it's not a stable environment for them. They come to my friend's house and they're told that they can sleep in a bed, and maybe they've never slept in a bed before, or maybe they've slept in a bed with 4 other siblings, and we tell them they have to sleep in a room with just 1 other sibling. And we have to help them, support them through that entire journey, and let them understand that we're here as a safe place and we're here to keep them protected.
All the meals that we serve here are family style. We serve dinner family style, where we sit down at the tables with cups and saucers and everything like that. A lot of these kids, quite frankly, aren't used to eating that way and haven't eaten that way. So we do try to provide a family type environment. I remember there was one child, she was probably 3 or 4, not quite first grade, and I could tell she was a sad child. She was just profoundly sad. Every time she had a visit, she would come back and just sit quietly in a corner. But when dinner time came and I would start getting out the cups and the plates and everything, she would just brighten up and she'd say, "Oh boy, can I help?" So I would have her set the tables, put the napkins out and everything, and she was just so happy that she felt she was included in doing something and getting the food out.
A few months ago, we were able to build an awesome playground that kids can just use to have fun and be a kid. They come from backgrounds that are very abusive, and so they don't have an opportunity to just have fun. So these kids are able to come out here, run, play, interact with one another, get some good exercise. And this was only made possible because of some very generous donors who gave us the money to build the playgrounds.
I have the title of rock and roller, and what that means is I spend time with the children, and this time could be spent with infants up to teens, and my responsibilities are just to interact with the children and the youth, and to supervise their play, to sit in a rocking chair with them if they're an infant, just to assist the staff so that their hands are not as full as they might be without volunteers there to help with the care and the supervision of the children.
Another area of interest here is our clothing closet, and that is a great room for us that is provided by donations from generous people as well as from volunteers who spend their time organizing that area. Really, our kids come from a place, again, where they may not have had that, and they come to us with just the clothes on their back.
Our vision is that every child, youth, and young adult will develop the skills and the confidence that they need to succeed in spite of the horrible situations they're in and the bad relationships. Today, we service youth from newborn all the way through 21. But there are gaps in our service. We need more help from the community. We need individuals, we need churches, we need organizations, we need corporations to help us fill the gap. And if we get that money, then it means we can form a continuum of care around these children, whether they're here when they're 1 year old or they're here at 21 going out on their own. These children are our most precious resources. They are our future, they're part of our community. We can give them the tools and guidance to be the next CEO of JCPenney, or we can let them on their own and have them underneath bridges and homeless, or maybe even in prisons. We need your help and support. With your support, we can protect that youth, we can empower change, and we can transform their lives.